Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 77 entitled Multidimensionality. Okay, so it's the second video for which all of them, they are independent, but I think it's probably better to start with the first one, even if we are evoking different elements around, and we are turning around the same point of singularity, which is the multidimensionality. Multidimensionality would be the concept of the sphere, of the entangled spheres, as I use this symbol of a tree of oranges. Okay, each orange would be a universe. Okay, all of them, they are independent, but in parallel of that, they are all fed by the same sap or sap. Sorry for my accents. All right, so this is really important because we need to talk about many timelines and so on, potential, quantum mechanics and so on, the space-time, presence, quantum leaf collapse and so on, and the quantum double that we will evoke in the last video. So I will not repeat all what I said before. We're gonna continue because all this concept, once again, they're entangles. Okay, entanglements is including embracing all these concepts. Okay, like consciousness. Okay, the individual consciousness and the consciousness with a capital letter, which is the consciousness, could be the source, God, whatever the name or no name, and so on. Okay, so but let's come back to the continuum of time and space-time. Every single second, okay, you have a superposition of 24 images. Okay, so it's every second there is like sequences, okay, like dominoes, okay, falling down with the illusion of the arrow of time. All right, so actually, this, you know, it's like when you play the when you are creative, when you're young, and you do some handmade cartoon, you know, so you design on post-it, for example, you design a small fellow, and then you change a little bit the angle like this, and then is animated. Okay, it's the same principle. That's why the mangas, I remember when I was young, in 80s, I remember that the Japanese mangas, they were cheaper than Walt Disney and so on. Why? Because they only used 12 images, giving, you know, more stroboscopic movement and not fluid movement like in other cartoons like Walt Disney and so on. Well, you know, let's continue. The notion of present and the notion of potential. Okay, I'm always use this image that have been revealed like this, some flash insights. It's the casino well. Okay, so imagine, okay, there is 60 positions, okay, 60 numbers. Okay, so it's turning. At this moment, it's a sphere of potential. Okay, so then collapse leaf. Okay, so it's path, only one number. Okay, the lucky number. Okay, so this is an image for understanding the process of quantum mechanics. Okay, just one thing very important. I quote one person I admire a lot, and unfortunately for me is not enough known, is Buckminster Fuller. So he said the following: everything is spinning, from tiny atoms to giant galaxies. Everything is in a state of perpetual thrilling. The unified vision presents us with a world in which we are all united through a fractal geometry of space-time intrinsically connecting all things. This fundamental understanding of reality truly promises to unite countless areas of human behavior, from spiritual understanding to technological development and elevate them to a whole new level. This knowledge will enable us to better understand deeply our communication with each other and our connection with nature, and we will be able to develop new technology that use primordial power of the universe to raise our collective consciousness beyond Earth to the stars. I invite you to think about it. Well, let's continue the notion of speed and light. They are linked, okay? That's why speed light is supposed to carries the information in a certain extent, and it's wandering, if you can understand, at 300,000 kilometers per second. Okay, so why I'm precising that, if you reach this speed, and this is Einstein demonstration, you would not, if you observe your face in the mirror, you would not have any face. Why? Because at this speed, the information cannot be held. Okay, so that's, let's say, an extension with this notion is what we call the Langevin twins. Okay, so it's science also. They state, I mean, it's stating that if you separate two twins at their birth, okay, one going in orbits around the Earth at this light speed, and another one normal life on Earth. After 40 years, let's say the rocket coming back on Earth would be still a baby, and a man after 40 years, he would be 40 years old. So this is this principle. Let's go a little bit further. You can also do kind of space-time travel through the notion of wormhole. Okay, so what is wormhole concretely? This is like, you know, when you take a bath and you take it out the water. Okay, so is concretely a black hole, to make it short. It's a contraction extremely without any combustible fuel. Okay, so it's collapsing, and collapsing so much that space-time as well. So it's absorbing everything. Okay, but it's like a passage. Okay, it's like a tunnel. It's like, but okay. So there is also something very important, is the notion of, let's say, there is black hole, and then there is white hole. Okay, there is the beginning. I mean, absorption. Okay, attraction, and then a tunnel. Okay, and beyond of that, there is apparently a white hole, which is an openness probably to either dimension. So if I make it short, it's like if each branch would be a kind of passage between both universes. Okay, so it's linked to the sap as a metaphor, of course. So you know, this it could be a kind of shortcut. Because in the entanglements I told you, concretely, it's the fact that some particles, once they have been connected physically at the first time, and Big Bang is supposed to be a contraction extreme and then poof, expansion. So we consider there is no new matter. This is the reason why nothing, Lavoisier said, nothing is created, nothing is ended, everything is transformed. Okay, so since the beginning, quantum arc of the official Big Bang, because there are probably billions and billions of other Big Bangs at the same time. Concretely, if it has been, okay, linked, even if there is a space-time between, they're vibrating at the same time. If I do that, immediately is not the time to have the information, linearly speaking, to arrive there. It's at the same time. And it was not at the same time, by the way. Okay, you get it. That's why I told you Einstein, because in the linearity of time, if you are doing everything and you have a part of your consciousness in every timeline, it's a question of vibration, vibration, vibration. That's why Einstein say, I told you many times, match the frequency of the reality that you want and you cannot stop getting it. It is not philosophy, this is science. Shift, 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 shift. I vibrate, okay, oh, I'm so bad and so on, I will lose. You lose. You win. And so on. And in between, I don't play, and so on. So, but apparently, it would be what we experience of the quantum leap, okay? But also at our scale, because what about the size of consciousness? Please let me know. The science doesn't want to think about consciousness. It's a taboo word, like soul and so on. So, anyway, so concretely, for this is an insight, a sight within. Okay, when I was young, when I was younger, I'm still young. Now, 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, it was, it was after my astral journey and so on. I had this vision, okay, this vision of the time, but it's not in 2D. It's arriving also towards you, you know, like this. So it's a sphere going in all dimensions. But is this only one universe? I mean, a multiverse for which it's encompassing, is entangling like a flower of life, you know, in 3D, fractal holographic, bigger and bigger, smaller and smaller, as above, so below, as below, as so above. Okay, so this is, you're gonna think it's like philosophy, or it is maybe a dream. Yeah, maybe. We can think about everything, you know. In the next series of video, it will be different realities. Anyway, what I like to say is awakening is an expansion of the point of attention, of the focus. But also, awakening is an expansion of consciousness, widening the field of the consciousness, your own consciousness, evolving, encompassing, embracing much more dimensions of people by knowing, by meeting them, or embracing their ideas, rejecting their ideas, or to be in peace at least with that. But the more you gather this, the more you co-create that. I mean, co-create because it's already there. I told you, all exist already and all ready to exist. So it's not boring, because I told you it's like we are playing this game endlessly. Okay, so if you shift all the time and you have the all contingencies, all the potential of what you can be as a small you within all the universe, and in parallel we shift and with other consciousness, because there is only the consciousness experiencing itself, oneself, okay, the oneness. It's so fun because it's endless, but it's difficult to understand. That's why I told you it's better to understand. Regarding this notion of point of consciousness, you know, I say several times, it's from Pascal, French philosopher. He said, it is a sphere. We don't know what he's talking about. I mean, it doesn't explain his God, his consciousness, and so on. So you put whatever you want. Love, also. I think it's three of them. It is a sphere whose center is everywhere and the circumference is nowhere. And this is super beautiful, because we're gonna do the link with the present. The now here, what you hear. There is only now here's everywhere, okay? There is only distance between both, but with the entanglement, everything is accessible, not through materiality, but emotionally, affectively, energetically, okay? So the famous now here, again, meditation now here, and you shift the W, okay? You shift the W, your higher self, W, me, you, and so on. You understand? W, I know it's a letter, but it's also, you can hear in the language of birds. This is mystical way of talking. It means that there is a subtle language within all languages. I give you one, for example. What is that? It's like, good night. Oh, great. Good night. K, N, I, G, and so on. Wake up. The wake up to find the Holy Grail, which is within you. When I talk about unity and I say Y-O-U-nity, you is you individually watching this, but also all of you. It's you as a global, Understand? So this is playing on the sound, because, and this is the subtle language that we use, I told you, everywhere, in Arabic, in Persian, in Farsi. A lot of the Templars in France, we use that a lot in the past to transmit for subtle consciousness, for subtle souls, to talk. I mean, you know, it's like some codes according to the degree of openness of people, of the consciousness. You understand? It's not a question of elites. It's just a question of trying to say subtly things and not directly. Because once you do that, you talk to the soul of people. You talk to the subconscious of the people. Well, you know, prison. Are we in a prison within the present? Anyway, so the now here, I told you, if you shift, nowhere becomes nowhere. What does it mean? It means that there is nothing else than now here. Here, now here, now here, now here, now here. At the beginning of the video, it's still now here, and in the future, it's still now here. Okay? And all the multidimensionality that you have as you now, as your incarnation, as your different bodies, as your different feelings, as the different potentiality, and maybe we shift together. It's like a, you know, musical chair. Well, presents, you know, the present is a gift. Size it now. This is what I like to say. Size it, size it, size it. Okay? It means take it and also try to understand it. You understand? And it's a gift. It's a gift. It's carpe diem. Carpe diem. It means that you embrace the now and you don't care about future and so on. You know, it's but the concept is like a slippery soap. You try to catch, and then, you know, the soap is always jumping when you do that. It's the same principle. It's the same principle that touching, trying to touch or to embrace, to seize, I don't know how to pronounce, the soap bubble. It explodes. It's like trying to analyze the way you are falling down. I fall asleep. Okay, so I do the and you wake up. Okay, so it's endless. It's just surrounding. It's just letting go, allowing you this. But I know that in our modern society, it's not necessarily criticizing. It's just we are overwhelmed through a deluge of information all the time, like a dam. We refer all the time, everywhere, and so on. And you know, that's why I used to travel a lot, and I lived 1/3 of my life abroad, and especially in Asia, because I can observe people observing life, opening the inner temple that we say contemplating. Okay, contemplating. Sorry. You know, the way I've been taught, for example, in ashrams in India, Sri Lanka, and so on, in China, and so on, or different civilizations and so on, they don't necessarily take a PowerPoint, of course not, they don't take a PowerPoint or they do a YouTube video like this. They bring you for gardening, for example. And the way, there is a subtle, you know, the shaman in Bali, who taught me, she was almost not talking English. Okay, my level in Indonesian is, I mean, it's operational, but not for doing philosophical stuff. Okay, so there is another language as well of the communication, soul to soul. This is what we're gonna be invited in the Christ area, transition, 5D, even 5D. In multidimensionality, 5D is still there, is already there, but it's just a way for us still in the 3D to understand what it could be, but it's exponential also. It's evolving as well. I know it seems to be paradoxal to evolve in an infinity. Okay? Well, you know, it's we are evolving all the time. The presence, since the beginning of this video, we traveled through the Earth, thousands of kilometers. You know, the Earth around the Sun is doing almost 1 billion of kilometers per year, and around the galaxy is 6.9 billion kilometers. Okay, so we say in Taoism and in Buddhism as well, the impermanence. There is only impermanence. There is only impermanent, the impermanence. What does it mean? Everything is evolving all the time. That's why I love this metaphor of God, the living, meaning He is living. So He is not fixed, blocked, and so on. He's evolving through us, the consciousness, all the time. Well, you know, this is important also to take into consideration, that in our crazy society and so on, modern society, 90 to 95% of the time we are not within the present. Okay, so we think about our memories, we think about the future and the next meeting, what we're gonna eat tonight and so on, but we're not absorbed by the present and the current task. And this is a problem, because when you activate that, that's what the book, the bestseller of Eckhart Tolle, okay, The Power of Present, is just excellent. It's so simple, so well explained, but it's so powerful when you have that, because you activate something much more, much more deep. It's, deeper, profoundly. It's like, because when you think as a remembrance, memories later, the vision of, because you live completely involved in it, and there is nothing else. It's like when you have the remembrance, concretely, is like if you have high definition of the vision that you have and so on. That's so important, not to be only spectator, observer, a spectator, but also to be actor of your life and co-scenarist, co-actor, and so on and so forth. So, it's very important. The notion of monkey mind, you know what is the monkey mind? Is when you're always thinking, overthinking about many things and you cannot stop thinking. Okay, so the principle of mindfulness, I invite you to watch the video 21 and 22. 21 is on meditation. It's half an hour giving you, 30 minutes of the main techniques and to avoid a lot of difficulties, okay? And 22, it's about mindfulness. Mindfulness, there is two ways. Either you do meditation like this and you empty your mind to find the oneness, empty to find the fullness. And secondly, you are just, as I said, you are preparing the meal and you are cutting some tomatoes and so on, and you are in it. You don't think about after and so on. And this, let's say, creates something. And the monkey mind, I give you some, if you watch this video, I gave some techniques to master the monkey mind. Why? But you give a banana. And what is a banana? There is different way. Either you repeat, either you focus on your breathing, or you repeat a mantra and so on. This are giving a banana. What does it mean? It means that you have something to eat, so it doesn't disturb you anymore. But it's a gymnastics, it's neuroplasticity. It means you use some current of neurons, and after that is like gymnastics. When you are stretching, you are doing every day some sport, and you are stretching. Maybe if at the beginning you are like an angle, and so on. Okay, you are stretcher. Well, and also I told you, meditate, I say many times, is essential. You know, just one thing. All what we say now and also in the previous and so on. This is, for me it's interesting. But the most important thing for me is between the key 21 and 40. Why? All of them, they are pure practice. Okay? And they are the foundations, the basements of a new existence. The rest is philosophy and so on. If we don't do this basics, it's harder to, I mean, it's, you know, it's a prerequisite. You know, in Asia, if you are doing Tao or Taoism, or Hindu and so on, you need to do Tai Chi, Qigong. I studied that 10 years when I lived in China. India, same, yoga and so on. Why? Because it's practical. It's not a aerobic. It's not that. It's not just movement and sports for the sport. No, it's the connection with the thing. It means your mind, your soul, and your body. Okay, as a triptych. It's super important. And unfortunately, you have that also in the notion of let's say esoteric dimension for Judaism, for Christianity, and also for Sufism. That's why, for example, the you know, dervish reeling. Okay, personally, I practice, I teach when we are in Shambali in Indonesia. If you watch the video I post 1 month ago or 2 months ago, sorry. Yeah, 1 month and a half, anyway, you will find it. Ecstatic dance and or trance and dance. At the end, okay, I do that. But it's a kind of metaphor. When you do that, there is something happening. When you do that, you lose your mind, you dilute your ego into the oneness and the samadhi and so on and so forth. But anyway, but yeah, meditate means literally medium, I told you, is super important, means the link, like the media are supposed to give us back the news, and medium means also the center. So it's again this image of going back to the center, the point of singularity, to explore the torus. The torus, okay, like this, in expansion and in contraction and so on and so forth. And this is giving a lot of, let's say, it's not power, abilities, I prefer to say. You know, this is to access, to take it out, your ego, and to be more in a higher consciousness, your higher self, the true I am. The true I am. Before Abraham was I am. Jesus said that. So what does it mean? It doesn't belong to Yeshua, Jesus. It's belonging to Christ's dimension. Christ's dimension referred to the key, don't remember, 67. It means literally you are enthusiastic. In Greek, it means crossed by divinity. Okay, so it's when you let it go. Not when you are in the ego. Hey, I'm strong, look at, I'm divine, I'm God. This is, I mean, sorry, bullshit. This is, yeah, BS, of course. So, you know, in English, I love the Shakespeare language also for this, because, you know, I don't think the same way when I talk different languages. I mean, I'm not schizophrenic, no, neither, but, and present, okay, present, it has been sent previously. Have you, I mean, sent beforehand, in a certain extent. You know, and this is quite logical, to admire this house, there is a downloading of an architect, then he has some maps, I mean, some patterns and so on, he gave, and then they built. Okay, so, it has been previously sent, in a certain extent. You know, it's like also the homemade cartoon. Okay, so you design one and then, but you need to see the arrow. You need to have done. I mean, to have done them before to admire the presence. If you see what I mean. It's a bit ambiguous, but because it's the notion of retrocausality. Retrocausality, it means that the future impacts our past or our present, which is absolutely a nonsense for most of, let's say, materialistic people. But actually, it's just because there is only now here. So, of course, it's jumping, shifting all the time. So even you can, you know, I like the definition of karma from Paulo Coelho, even if it's something I've been taught in India. Karma is not you inherit of your past. Presently, you can clean up, for example, your past according to your good alignment and good behavior now here. Thereby there is an impact for you for now and then for the future, but the future as well. You see? So without being too, too quick or too far, but anyway, I invite you to think about that. Another thing, you know, language of bird is, I told you, is the fact to hear something subtle, is the notion of second, a second, une seconde. So in Latin languages, so Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Romanian, also in Slavic, like Polish and so on, even if in Nordic, okay, is the same principle. Even in Chinese, dong, okay. Second, if there is a second, since I'm young, I was always thinking, why? It's second. Why is not first? Where is the first? Where is the first one? Maybe this is the sphere of probability, sphere of probabilities, the casino wheel, okay, turning, the first, okay, all the contingency, the sphere of probability, the all points of the probability, and then only one particle, one collapse, one quantum collapse, okay? So maybe it would be that. The second, each second is just the fruit of one state amongst much more before, taking place in a parallel universe, in the multiverse, in a simultaneity of the time I show you this again. Okay? The fact to evolve in one universe, evolving there, but it's arriving like this. Okay? So you coexist here, your little you is everywhere. You just have à la carte your consciousness. You can choose. Vibrate the frequency of the reality and you cannot stop getting it. This is not philosophy, this is science. Einstein again. So, you know, once again, I don't want to repeat myself, but the fact to be into the presence allows you to welcome the presence. What is the presence? With a capital letter. It's something beyond you. It's the consciousness. It's something surpassing you as a ego, as a small consciousness, as a filter. It's just, you forget that you are, or who you are, because you are in the true I am. Okay, so, you know, it's endless, huh? We are always the snake eating and the tail and always saying the same thing, actually. Well, you know, I like to say, and this is in a book I invite you to read. You can download for free on my website. The title is it's Sanctities of Saint Cizis. Okay, so it's like coax. Okay, so here it is. The title is No Way or Here and Now Way. Well, anyway, we don't care about the title. The past is dead for you, although it comes back to life in its own way, and the future is dormant somewhere. Each has its own life. What are you waiting for? In order to wake up and seize the miracle of the instant in which one moment stretches out in infinite suspended space. There is no room for future fears, nor your remorse, and even less for your regrets. Okay, so I invite you to think about that. Once again, I invite you to watch the key 21 and 22 for mindfulness. And, you know, mindfulness seems to be difficult at the beginning, just the fact to empty your mind or to practice daily, in your daily life. But in the practice of empty your mind, we all do it. It means that to ignore completely the future, when, for example, you are very tired and you just open up an eye and you see your alarm clock is 6:59, for example, and you know the alarm, you plan it at 7, so you only have 1 minute, and you decide to fall asleep. Okay, only 1 minute, we don't care, it's another life, and so on. So just the fact to be in the now here is that the fact you don't mind. Okay, so I invite you to think about all of this. This is really important. I hope it will help you to shape your master key, to open up, to enlarge your consciousness, to open up the field of consciousness, of love, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome, and to home, and to the dome. Thank you for your attention, and see you very soon.